All right, everybody, welcome into the Bettor and Laws podcast, week 13 of the NFL season. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. And this is a little bit of a different edition of the Bettor and Laws podcast. It's obviously Thanksgiving week, and I saw tomorrow's weather and I saw tomorrow's traffic, or I'm well aware of the traffic that we are accustomed to in this area on Thanksgiving Eve, if you will. And I said, absolutely not. I am not going from Needham to Boston and then down to the South Shore on the eve of Thanksgiving. So we are doing it via Zoom on a Tuesday afternoon. Matt, how are we? How you doing?
Doing well, buddy. How are you?
Good, good. It was almost a brutal week for me, at least, week 12 until the 4 o'clock slate, because I went over on the 1 o'clock slate there. But then I bounced back with not only a win, but a best bet win. So the losing streak is over for myself. My God, thank you. So maybe Joe Murray is our good luck charm there. But I didn't feel great about the best bet heading into it just because of the losing streak and the fact that you and Joe were kind of leaning in the other direction. But hey, 49ers look damn good coming off the bye week there. So gotta like that. Yep. Or not off the bye, excuse me, off a big win against the Jaguars at home there. So why don't you just run through our week 12 picks quickly, and then we'll get into this Thanksgiving slate, and then we'll touch on the Monday and the rest of the Sunday and the Monday and the rest of the crap.
Let's do it, buddy. Let's do it. All right. Week 11 recap. You said it. You hit your best bet. 49ers minus 11.5. Nice win there. Your other win came with the Rams +1. Had to sweat that one a little bit, huh? With the last minute field goal, but we take that. We take that win easy, as they say in the business.
Well, so just real quick, they actually closed favorites.
I did see that, right? So
they were 1.5. I saw.
Yeah, they closed favorites. So nice play there, by the way, at the plus number. That's why we do it early.
Exactly. Another reason why you need to check in on our podcast early, and that's why we record on Wednesdays and early in the week, because the lines, they shift dramatically, which is what we saw in that matchup there. Keep going.
All right, buddy. Those are your two wins. The three losses, the Giants and Redskins, or Commanders, whatever they are now, under 37.5. That was a tough beat. The pick 6 for the Giants at the end. Unnecessary. Just go down like everybody does.
Well, yeah, it was already lost. It was already lost at that point.
Was it? Okay.
I thought it was already over. It was already over.
Well, that's a little bit easier to take.
Didn't foresee Tommy DeVito throwing 3 touchdown passes against the Commanders, but I guess Justin Fields lit them up a few weeks back. So can't say I'm shocked there, but that one hurt. But
yeah, Tommy DeVito played out of his mind. So nice win for him. Unfortunately, loss for you there. Lions -9. They tried to get back in that game. They almost got there at the safety at the end instead of a touchdown. A touchdown would have helped you.
Yeah, that one but that pissed me off because he could have easily just fell on that in the end zone. I would have covered.
That would have been a nice one. And then we had the double of a loss of Houston, Arizona. I can't tell you how many times those two teams combined were in the red zone and did not score points. That drove me absolutely crazy.
I still would have made that pick 9 times
no question.
out of 10 because
that was the right side.
I didn't foresee, what was it, 6 picks or something like that? 5 or 6 picks?
It was up there. It was I think it was 4 picks and a couple of fumbles. It was just a mess of turnovers, and that's going to happen when you turn the ball over in the red zone. That's a recipe for disaster if you have the over. So over to me, obviously the loss there, the double I did hit another best bet, Tuck. Jaguars -6.5. That was easy skating from the jump. Love the blowout there.
Love it.
Cleveland +1.5. I got them. They ended up closing -2.5. Doesn't really matter what number you got because they won by 3. So congrats there if you bet the Browns. That was a winner. Miami -12.5 was a loss. Vegas held them 20 points. Didn't see that coming either on that one, but had their chances to cover that number. They just couldn't punch it in. So also hit the Rams, Seattle under 46, relative ease there. So 3-2 week for me. Overall, Tuck, you are 32-22-1 on the season. Best bet winner gave you to 3-8. So the streak is over. Let's keep the hot streak. Let's now make a hot streak for you going to this week. And then for me, overall record 30-25. Best bets now 9-2.
Well, the best bet streak is really something that's incredible on your end. Again, 9-2, and hopefully you've been listening to us from the shoot. And again, we mentioned it last week, but Matt's best bet streak does go back to when he was calling into the fantasy show on the Sports Hub when I was hosting. He went 10-1 then, and with me on the podcast here, he is now 9-2. So an incredible stretch for you, Matt. So congrats.
Love
there.
it, buddy. We're gonna keep it going though. Just keep it moving.
Yeah, let's get right into it on the Thanksgiving slate here. Actually, not a bad slate of games here. I guess the worst one being the 12:30 game, and that's only because Packers lost Aaron Jones there. So we normally don't do Thursday bets, but seeing that we're recording on a Tuesday and it's Thanksgiving, this is going to be enough time for the best or the likes window, if you will.
Yeah.
So if you just join us for the first time, 5 likes, one of them being a best bet. So we'll do the likes first, the rest, and then we'll wrap up the podcast with the best bet. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to us at Bettor Laws on Instagram, Twitter, and on YouTube. Okay, let's get into the likes. I have a like on the very first game of Thanksgiving. I'm going right back to the Detroit Lions, -7.5. Wait, yes, I do have that.
You got him. I see.
I was just like, where are they in my notes? And I do not have them in my notes, but I do have them in their spreadsheet. Okay. Well, I just feel like the Packers are just not a good team at all. And I think we've seen that evidence over the past couple of weeks. Now, Jordan Love has bounced back as of late. I like what I'm seeing out of Reed. I'm like what I'm seeing out of Dobbs. And even Musgrave is kind of turning on as the rookie tight end for the Packers there. But the big loss here is, I mentioned, Aaron Jones. That is the key cog in that offense. And the one way you can exploit this Lions defense is to run against them. I mean, we saw, I know he's a quarterback, but Justin Fields put up 100 plus rushing yards last week against this defense. And I just don't think that the Packers offense can get anything moving whatsoever in Detroit. And actually, I like the fact that Detroit struggled last week. You know, they faced some adversity. They bounced back. I know it's against a crap Bears team, but they faced some adversity. It is a divisional game, and they bounced back at home. Great comeback. So now that's back-to-back wins, uplifting wins, if you will, for the Lions, both in L.A. on a game-winning field goal, and last week, late win again. So give me the Lions. I think that they could maybe win by 10 here. I think 7.5 is a little bit too low. I just don't see a lot going on for the Packers offense. So give me the Lions -7.5, the much, much better team here.
All right, bud. I don't have a good feel in this game. I don't really love what I've seen from the Lions defense recently, enough to go lay over a touchdown in this game. Though that said, I don't.
Well, I'm sorry, but yeah, that's where they came up though, was on defense last week.
Finally, they stepped up in the second half, but just overall, the amount of points they're giving up. I'm looking at the over in this one, though it has moved from 44 to 47. That's a significant move, hitting a couple of key numbers.
Why though? The Packers offense can't do that without Aaron Jones. I don't think
they're trending up a little bit. They've at least looked a little bit better over the last few weeks. Consider they beat the Chargers last week, a nice comeback win. Again, that's could be more about the Chargers than it is about the Packers. But Jordan Love has at least looked okay, where earlier in the season he looked dreadful. These two teams played on a Thursday night game earlier this year, and Detroit's defense that was probably their best game. We'll get into Kansas City later, but I feel like we got tricked earlier in the year about how good the Lions defense was when we're watching that Kansas City game, and you're like, wow, they held them down, won that game outright. They've just been giving up a lot of points. It's almost like they don't play prevent, but it feels like it. It feels like they give up a lot of they try to play bend but don't break, and if they do break, they're giving up a lot of points. So it's just one I want to stay away from. I did lean to the over. If I had to pick, I would pick the Lions in this game. Tuck, I'll say that from a side perspective. Yeah. The Lions on Thanksgiving, it's a rare for them to be favorites, but when they are, they They've smashed over the last 4 games as a favorite, which because there's not that many to even go back to. 4-0 and covering by a significant margin as favorites. So that trend is in your favor. I do think they definitely win this game. I'll say this. I know we don't talk about teasers much, but I did tease the Lions down to -1 in this spot.
Wow.
And I will tell you who I tease them with when we get to that game later on. But in a 2-team teaser, tease them down just to have some action. I think they win the game. I just don't know if I want to lay over a touchdown right now. That's all.
Yeah, I'm just reading this from the covers.com. The Packers have gone just 2-5 straight up and against the spread in their last 7 games, with their only victory coming against a Rams team that was led by Brett Ripien. That's a good point there. So yeah, I'm not feeling it for the Packers.
Was that before? That must have been before the Chargers game last week because they beat the Chargers last week.
No, I'm talking about the Packers.
Yeah, they beat LA last week in Green Bay. Jordan Love hit Romeo
that's right.
Dobbs
That's right.
at like the 2-minute mark. So
right.
That must have been from before. But point is, they're still not a great team. I just think they've been playing a little bit better lately on offense. But again, game I want to stay away from. I'll be with you on Thursday.
Yes.
So we'll be watching this one together.
You won't. I won't be watching.
Oh, you'll be late. You're coming to the later one. You're doing the split
thing.
That's right. You're coming later.
Because we're hosting dinner here, and we switch off every year. So I'll be doing dessert.
Good. So the game that I'm more interested in.
Yeah.
You'll be there
exactly. By the way, the Packers have lost 4 straight games away from Lambeau Field, while the Lions are 4-0 straight up, and 3-1 against the spread in their previous 4 contests at home. And the other aspect of this that I like for the Lions in terms of putting up points in this one, or sizable gap in their win, is the fact that Jared Goff looked like crap last week. What do you have? 2 picks in the first half, 3 picks overall. I think that he almost always plays at an elite level at home in Detroit in that dome there. And I think they're going to be feeling it there. I think that Goff's going to be looking to bounce back there. I liked what I saw. Jameson Williams being a little bit more involved. He reeled in a touchdown last week. Sam Laporta was extremely quiet. I expect him to have a nice day. So yeah, I'm just going with the much better team here. Lions -7.5 as my first like. All right, what do you got? What are you looking at here for your first like? Any Thanksgiving for you?
My fifth like is going back and forth up to like the last second. I'm having trouble with my fifth like this week and who I want to put on the card.
You're looking on Thursday?
One of the games is Thursday.
You want my opinion?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Since it's a podcast, I will share my opinion.
Let's do
it. Give a Thursday pick because it's Thanksgiving.
You want the Thanksgiving
The only
pick?
time of year we get 3 games on Thanksgiving. I want your Thanksgiving pick, and I think the audience does too.
Fine.
Give me your
Thanksgiving first like. It's the fifth like in my rated wise.
Yeah.
Give me the Commanders +11. This is too many points. Where you're taking Dallas here, you're taking him at an absolute premium. And yes, I know that Dallas as home favorites on Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving favorites in general are tough to fade, Tuck. So like here's the deal. They don't bold well. Like favorites bold very well actually on Thanksgiving when they're heavy favorites. So I'm fading that to begin with. I just think this number's too much. I made the game 9. I think that's fair. Even at 9 though, I think I lean Washington. It's just getting 11. We're downgraded to last week before the Giants and Washington played. We saw the look ahead at Dallas -9. I felt like that was right. Now we saw Washington lose to the Giants, almost inexcusable to a degree. It's 10 point favorites at home, but that's what the Commanders do. They lose these games. Think about it. They get buried by the Bears at home on Thursday Night Football. They go out, they lose to the Giants at home, but now we're back in the division. Think about how they played Philly in the division. 2 hard-fought games, 1 to overtime, 1 down. They were winning the whole game and kind of gave it up at the end. The score at the end of that second Philly-Washington game was not as close as that game really was played. So I think they stay within the number here. Look, this is a rivalry game. It's on Thanksgiving. I think that Washington can stay within this number. Washington's offense, Sam Howell, the very least before last week, was really lighting it up on throwing the ball through the air. I think you can beat Dallas in that way, or not beat. They're not going to beat Dallas, but I think you can get to them through the air. Just looking up the defensive stats, Dallas has been awesome pass yards allowed per game. So this is what this game comes down to. Can you get the ball to Logan Thomas, to Terry McLaurin? This is a key part of why I like Washington in this side tuck. Terry McLaurin, after the game, coming out talking to the media, he's not sure when I'm getting the ball. Not sure what's going on. Definitely want the ball. I think they're going to force feed McLaurin, and I think that's a good thing for this Commanders team.
Yeah.
I really do think that will help open it up. We'll see if Antonio Gibson comes back. I think he's a huge weapon for them in the passing game in this game, because I expect them to be down. So I think as a running back, come out of the backfield, catch more passes, a little bit better for them if he plays. I don't know that he will. Still too early on that one. So we'll see. Think it's going to be close to the number, but I'm taking the Commanders. Give me the 11 on Thanksgiving, and I think it's because Washington's offense comes to play, which they've done in games where they're stepping up to play teams, not stepping down.
Yeah, I kind of lean in your direction too. I think that the Commanders overall, just on both sides of the ball last week, was embarrassing. Again, we mentioned DeVito threw 3 touchdowns last week against this defense, and the offense really didn't show us anything last week. So they're going to need to show up, and we've seen them put up big points in the past, and I think that they can keep this, within a touchdown. I could totally see that. Trend for this game, by the way, the Cowboys are 1-11 against the spread in their last 12 Thanksgiving Day games.
Yep.
Which is pretty interesting, but we've seen how red hot they are at home. And usually when they're double-digit favorites, they do cover this, but it's a big spotlight. It's a big spotlight. And I could see Eric Bieniemy kind of riding the ship here with Sam Howell, offensive coordinator Bieniemy, and keeping this closer than 11.
They'll be ready to go. They'll be ready to go. Dallas has Seattle on deck at home, and then Philadelphia as well. So just looking ahead, this is a little bit of a letdown spot for them, even though it is Thanksgiving. Probably not much of a letdown, but still a rivalry game at home. They'll be ready to go. I just think the Commanders will be too.
By the way, this opened at 45.5, and now it's up to 49.
Yeah. Well, that's because the Giants in DeVito are throwing all over the Commanders, and now they get a red-hot Dallas team. I expect some points in this game.
This feels like a Tony Pollard game, doesn't it?
Yeah, it'd be nice. Tony Pollard getting the end zone last week, finally.
Yeah,
so that was
I think he needed that. I think he finally needed that, and it's obviously against a terrible Panthers team, but just the fact to have some sort of step forward for Tony Pollard.
He needed something.
Yeah. So I think this another good spot for Tony Pollard if you're looking at a DFS lineup on Thanksgiving.
Dallas, by the way, just 4.4 yards per play in that game against Carolina, against that defense. And it should be better than that. Well, they get the pick 6 again.
Right.
That's the Carolina special. We're going to give you a pick 6 and look, you're down 7-0 to start.
Right, exactly. But they still put up 25 points, right? Math.
Yeah, 25.
26? No, 26 points on offense.
3? Well, 26.
Yeah. So still, they were pretty much sleepwalking that game.
Yeah, decent day at the office.
Yeah. So a lot of points to go here on this one. All right, so your first is the Commanders plus 11. I like it. My second for week what is it? Have I been saying week 13?
It's week 12.
Have I been saying week 13?
I caught you saying it once.
Yeah,
but it's fine. It all blends.
I'm trying to cram a week into 3 days at work, so my mind's all over the place right now. Yeah. And like everybody. I ran into a couple people at work today who were all disheveled and everything. Everybody's all stressed out.
All out of sorts. The holidays, that's what it does.
Yeah. Hence why refusing to drive tomorrow, at least going into Boston for this podcast. I would be sitting in 2.5 hours of traffic, not even exaggerating.
Not worth it.
All right. Not enough about that. Week 12, second leg here for me. It's by far the lowest total on the board. I'm still going under. 33 and a half. Giants and Patriots. Give me the under on this one. I know that Tommy DeVito had his best NFL career game last week. I know that the Patriots are a terrible team, but this game just screams of another 10-9, 10-6 sort of matchup that we saw with the Colts a couple weeks ago in Germany. Bill Belichick can handle Tommy DeVito, no problem. Patriots defense has been fine all year. Yes, they've been gassed. Yes, because the offense just continuously punts and goes 3 and out and is the worst offense in the NFL.
Yep.
They're not going to have any issues with Tommy DeVito. They're going to take away Saquon Barkley like the Patriots always do. As bad of a team they are, they still have been taking away the top player for the most part on every team. It seems like, at least. They can take away Saquon Barkley. They're going to cause chaos in the backfield for Tommy DeVito against that still porous Giants offensive line. There's going to be no points in this game. And by the way, I assume you heard Bill Belichick today, correct?
I actually didn't. I've been locked down in the lab here.
Peppered
what did he say?
Questions about the quarterback. Just take a wild guess what his approach was.
Oh, just we'll see. We'll see. Everyone's taking first team.
Everybody's ready. Everybody's prepared to play.
Yeah,
everybody's prepared to play. They the press asked him it 12 different ways, and he gave the same answer every time. Everybody's going to be prepared to play. So with that being said, number one, I think they're going to start Mac Jones.
Do you?
I do.
Okay.
I don't agree with it.
Oh, I don't know how you go back to it. I just the way they pulled him last time. I don't know how you do it.
I mean, how many times have they pulled him, Matt?
It's got to be 3, right? At least
this year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. New Orleans, obviously Indy,
Cowboys. That's this
3,
year.
off the top of my head.
Did you said Saints, right?
Yep, Saints.
Yeah. And last year the staple pull was the Bears on Monday Night Football, right?
Ugh. Yeah,
so
that's right.
They haven't gone away from him yet. What's going to stop them now? I don't agree with it.
Yeah,
but I think you're going to see Mac Jones start. They're going to see how he does, and then put in Zappy if it comes to it. And I think you're going to see this quarterback rotation if it really goes off the rails in this game. I wouldn't rule out you see 3 quarterbacks.
Greer?
I'm not ruling it out. Nope.
Malik?
No. Malik's going to be inactive. He's
got to be inactive. Who's the third?
Probably Greer.
Yeah, okay.
Unless for some reason they just strongly don't believe in him whatsoever. And again, he joined late in the season. I think it was like September. But he should be up to speed by now. So it's either they want him on the team or they don't. And he's still on the team. So why not make him active? So either way, my ultimate point is that there's not going to be a lot of points in this one. Give me the under 33 and a half.
All right. I can't disagree with that. I can't believe these two teams are in the position they're in. Even the Giants winning last week. I also don't know on what planet the Patriots are to lay 3.5, 3, whatever you see to
I
open.
Saw 3 now,
and it was 5.5 last week. So think about it. If the Giants didn't win that game last week, which is still crazy, this is one I just want to stay away
honestly,
from.
I would lean Giants in this.
Yeah, I think I lean the other way. It's like one of those lines you look at it and like, who the hell are the Patriots to lay this number? And you're like, to your point, what is Tommy DeVito going to do? Like, if Tommy DeVito beats the Patriots, we've hit rock bottom. Like, that's it. I mean, it can't happen, right? Like, it can't happen. So
honestly, this could turn into a field goal game. I don't know.
As a Patriots fan, do you want to win this game? My brother's a Giants fan. He's rooting for the Patriots.
No,
He's
I don't
very
want
upset
no.
that the Washington Commanders lost last week to the Giants. Very upset.
Yeah, I would be too if I was a Giant. I'm in the same boat as your brother.
Yeah, just on the opposite side. Yeah, so I was
I want
curious if
now I now want the highest possible pick.
yeah, I would too if I were you. The easiest way to get back in it. You don't want to
Yeah,
be in NFL purgatory and just be in the middle without a
right.
quarterback.
Right.
So
And like, let's, if they end up with the top two pick and those quarterbacks are legit, great, draft them. But if they're
yeah,
not, and you don't believe in them for some reason, then trade out of it and build up your roster, which is depleted, it seems
totally
like.
agree.
All right. So what is your second like on the board here?
All right, buddy. My second like that we're gonna go to is the 4 p.m. slate. Give me the Arizona Cardinals and the LA Rams over 44.5. This line's going in the opposite direction, and that's plenty fine with me because I think we're going to get a little bit of an offensive show in this game. So I believe Cooper Kupp is going to be back. That's a just total guess. It's Tuesday, where it's far too early before injuries, but he wanted to play in last week's game. They were extra cautious with him. I believe if he felt like he was ready to go last week with the extra caution, that's where I'm leaning on. I think he plays in this game. Even if not, I think the Rams, they can score some points on offense when Stafford's back there. I felt the under last week with the Seahawks and Rams, so I expected that type of game to come out. I think in this one, it's the opposite. We're going to see some points. So in addition to Cooper Kupp potentially coming back, we are definitely getting Kyron Williams back for the Rams, and that is going to make all the difference for that offense. Getting that complete back for them is huge, especially when you look at the numbers, Tuck. So just from a running perspective, Arizona giving up 132 yards a game on the ground, not great. So that's good for 26th in the league. The Rams also give up the 22nd most rush yards per game with 117. So I expect James Conner to have a nice game. On the flip side, Arizona, like we're on the over last week, didn't hit a lot of turnovers. That's a bit unlucky, right? They're back home this week. Think they'll play better. Kyler again has definitely shown that offense is much better under him. He moves the team up and down the field. We just got to get some points in this one this time. So I expect that to happen. I don't think either defense is good. Total yards allowed per game. Rams 18th in the league, giving up 335. Arizona 24th, giving up 349. So neither defense is going to sit in there. I think both teams going to take shots. I think big plays in this game, the big holes in the run game. I think we get to 44.5 relatively easy. I think it's coming down because it's a division game, but these two teams are definitely stronger on the offensive side right now than they are on the defensive side. I think both of them get into the 20s, and then we have no issue at that point.
Well, let me just add my third like here, and that's with this game as well. On FanDuel, the Rams are currently 1.5-point dogs. Give me the Rams
Yeah,
plus
like that.
1.5.
Yeah.
On DraftKings, they're -1.
Yeah, there's a couple of games that are, depending on if you're looking at FanDuel and DraftKings, just those two are flipped. There's a couple of them. So
yeah. I don't know
one of them.
What's going on really this week. Maybe it's just the weird card that we talked about earlier.
There's a lot of games that are in that 1 to 2 point range, and you're going to see this flip. If one book gets a lot of money hit, they're going to jump the line. So
there's another one we're going to talk about here. I see.
Sure are.
But let me just add to that real quick. Kyron Williams, when they first played, or when they previously played the Cards this week, I forget which week it was, or this season, I mean, he had 20 carries, 158 yards, and a touchdown, and they get him back this week. Cooper Kupp, I think he's going to be fine, like you mentioned. Puka Nacua looks like he's actually questionable, and he showed up in a big way last week, but I think he's going to play. Plus 1.5. I still think the Rams can make a run here this season.
They're the better team.
I really do. I think they got unlucky in a couple of games here this season. They should be right around 500. And I think they can go on a run. I think they're a very well coached team, and I don't have any issue with them beating the Cardinals. I would still like this at -1, honestly. So give me the points, plus 1.5.
All right, buddy.
Let's move ahead to that was my third like. So why don't you go ahead and give your fourth like?
All right.
Oh, excuse me, your third like.
My third like. Yep. My third like, I am going to another over, Tuck. in the year of the unders. I'm going over in this one. It's Buffalo, it's Philadelphia, and it's over 47
Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
a half.
I gotta stop you here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Remember, oh man, I'm giving out 6 likes. I just said how I'm so disheveled this week.
Yeah.
I had Rams on my
I thought you were
notes.
going to replace one on the sheet. That's what I thought you were going to do.
I didn't replace one.
You can if you want. No rules here. No rules. We're just giving out picks. We're giving out the picks we like. So if you want to replace it,
I'll replace one.
Yeah, good.
I haven't given out yet.
Yeah. All right. Perfect.
Go ahead.
Just do that.
That's the clear up. I'm glad I figured it out. I'm a dope. Continue.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. You're good. So yeah, I'm on Buffalo and Philly over 47 and a half. So let's get into this. How much can a week change in the NFL talk? Last week we're on with Joe Murray talking about what are the Bills? They are in disarray. We needed to see a performance together. Were we going to get it? Are they even a playoff team? Are they the best team in the AFC East? Absolutely not. Miami is. Are they the second best team? We're not sure. Maybe the Jets win. Holy Jesus. Buffalo came to play, and it's about time. Like that was their second most complete game of the year, other than when they buried the Dolphins earlier this year, right? The complete beat down there. So this in general is a great spot for the Bills. It's a terrible spot for Philadelphia. So Philly comes off a dogfight against the Chiefs in a game that they quite honestly should have lost, where Kelsey fumbled in the red zone. MVS drops a wide open touchdown in the final minute of that game. Kelsey drops a couple of balls on third down and on that final drive. They just didn't look great all around. That's more about the Chiefs. But Philadelphia comes off that game. Next week, they play San Francisco.
Yeah.
And now the Bills, who are they getting hot? Or are the Jets that bad? We're not sure, but they made the Jets look very, very bad in a game against a team that's a division game who plays Josh Allen well. And, I got to say, after the game, I was watching a little bit of their locker room and some press conferences, and they had their swagger back, Tuck. Like Josh Allen said, I am fucking back. And that was the confidence this team needs. Also, like, if you look at this, everything went great for Buffalo last week. I mean, outside of Miami winning, they had the Joe Burrow injury out for the year. Not that they're rooting for injuries, but I mean, hey, we're trying to get into the playoffs, and after a rough start, Burrow going down, huge for them. Watson going down, huge for them. Kansas City loses to Philadelphia. Pittsburgh lost. There's teams that are above them that are coming down now. So this is a huge game for Buffalo. And here's the other thing. I think they're gonna put up points in this game. I'm not worried about that. I'll get to that in a minute. Philadelphia, let's switch them for a second. They continue to win these close games. Something like Minnesota was doing last year, right? All these one-score games that Minnesota was winning, and everyone said Minnesota's not that good. They're lucky. This doesn't happen.
I mean, Monday Night Football and Arrowhead, and you pull that out in the fourth quarter, balls win,
but it was more about the Chiefs. Fair. I have to say that. The Chiefs, they should have went up 17 points, and Kelsey fumbled that.
Chiefs were in control of that game.
Oh, they should have easily won that game. Yep. So that was more about them than. I mean, hey, give Philly credit. They hung in, did what they needed to do to win the game. They made the plays at the end that they needed to make. But looking back to last year again, Minnesota was called lucky, and they were. So is this Philadelphia team. They're good. I just don't think they're great. I know they're 9-1 now. They're playing good ball. I think we're about to see how good Philly really is. They did beat Kansas City. Now they have Buffalo, San Francisco on deck, then Dallas. They have a gauntlet. So I think it starts here. All of that said, why do I like the over? So both teams going to go ahead.
I'm seeing on FanDuel and DraftKings, it's 48.5. Are you seeing 47?
Yeah, there's still 47s in the market. Okay. MGM, Caesars. Looking right here. Bet Online.
Okay. Continue then.
Yep, no problem. So I do think there's going to be a lot of points in this, and you can even take 48.5. It's fine with me. Philly, 28th in the league against the pass. They're allowing 248 yards per game. The Bills secondary's banged up. They lost another guy this week. So, like, I think both teams are going to be able to move the ball. Both teams are going to move the ball through the air specifically, which is what you really want when you're betting overs. I have to be honest. I'm betting the over. I've already bet the over. I've already bet the side too. It's not an official play for me. I took the Bills plus 3.5. I think the Bills win this game outright. I took the over. I love Buffalo here. But over 47.5 is the official play for me.
It does feel like Philly is due for a loss here. They've won on the season.
Think about it. They keep playing these close games, and eventually luck doesn't break your way. Like, this was the big thing with the Vikings last year, right? Like, luck eventually doesn't break your way. Just so happened it happened in the playoffs when the Giants beat them. But, like, you can't just keep teetering, and you haven't played exactly the toughest schedule up to now. Like last night, Kansas City, good opponent. No one's taking that away from you. But, like, you're about to see, you keep playing the way you're playing against the teams you're about to face. I mean, think about the Dallas game. Like, Dallas had them on the ropes in the end. Like, it just couldn't put them away. Like, good teams find ways to win, so we got to give them credit there. But I'm not sure they're great. And I think it's that. I think the Bills need this game more than Philly right now. So I think they're going to come and play.
Listen, all the credit in the world to Philly for winning an Arrowhead. Like I just said, but they should have got their asses handed to them last night. Kansas City was the better team the majority of that game.
No question.
And if they had any sort of pass catchers, Kansas City would have smoked them.
Insane. Mahomes, Mahomes
was dialed in last night.
I'm not like a KC guy at all. I can't stand them because they win so much. Just comes with the territory. And I'm a Niners fan. I'm bitter about that Super Bowl. But Mahomes, I feel bad for him. Like, if Kelsey starts dropping balls like last night, forget.
Yeah, we're throwing to Justin Watson right in the hands on the sideline. He had a weird route that looked like it was missed. He should have went one way.
Yeah.
MVS. He not the fourth quarter one with MVS. There was one in the second quarter. I want to say
he went the wrong way too. I know exactly where you're going. Yeah.
I mean, just give him some sort of a wideout.
It's crazy.
My God.
It's crazy.
And the thing that frustrates, and I know we're talking about the Eagles or whatever, but just real quick on the Chiefs. The thing that frustrates me is, have you seen Rashee Rice in his rotation?
It's good.
No, okay. So they put him on the field, and then they take him off the field right away. It's like
it makes no sense.
Every other snap. It's like they're still easing him into the NFL, but I think you need to take the training wheels off this kid. I think he's ready to go. And they're still super hesitant to get him the ball or keep him on the field the majority of the time. It's just so frustrating.
Crazy. Besides Kelsey, he's the one guy you can trust on the Chiefs right now. And they don't play him enough.
The field. Yeah, I don't get it. Especially when he had an anytime touchdown bet last night.
I was thinking you might have based off that.
Yeah, I had two of them, actually. I got to stop betting parlays, honestly. It's really
parlays
really
not profitable.
No, I think I'm done. Because I'll tell you what my parlay was last night. It was Joe Murray's bet on the 23.5
first half
total,
that hit,
which hit on the last second field goal in the first half. Thank you, Joe Murray. And I hope people played that.
So
who listen to the podcast. I had that. I had Devonta Smith over 5.5 catches, and I had Rashee Rice anytime touchdown.
So 2 out of 3.
I should have just bet them, separate, and I would have been profitable. So I think I'm done with parlays. I'm done. I think I'm all done.
I don't blame you.
Yeah. But yeah, in terms of a side, I lean Bills too. I just wonder if it's a little bit baity. The Bills are heading into a bye week next week, and typically a road team, that has a bye in the next week, I kind of tend to fade that. But I think this is a different circumstance with the firing of Ken Dorsey and the fact that they just blew doors last week.
Yep.
And I like what they did with getting Shakir more involved last week too. I think he could be a really solid piece for that offense out of the slot. I like the over in this. I agree with you. I think this definitely could be a shootout, and I would lean Bills.
Yep.
So there you go there. My final like here before we get to the rest and best bet. It's a double like. We have a double like here. Raiders plus 9.5. And let me just say that ever since McDaniels has been fired, this has been a completely different feel for this team. They are competing. They are playing. It hasn't been a one game typical blip after a coach gets fired, you see a pop. Yep. We did see that, but you're seeing a trend now of them continuing to compete and keep games close. What they did last week in Miami, which was one of your likes and one of Joe's likes, was very impressive.
Yeah.
We all know Miami's dynamic weapons. I know that A-Chain left the game, but still, they still got plenty of weapons to go around. They kept that close. They kept that really close. And we just were talking about the Chiefs and their pass catchers. The Chiefs don't scare me going into Vegas at all. I still think that the Chiefs might win this or should win this at least, but 9.5 points. Like, I know the Chiefs defense is solid and everything. They can keep this close. They can show up at home. I think Aiden O'Connell can, sling 2 touchdowns, and they can get Josh Jacobs going there. Swift had a nice game for the Eagles last night on the ground. Don't be mistaken that the Raiders were definitely taking notes on that approach with DeAndre Swift. They're going to hammer Josh Jacobs in this. 9.5 is too many points. It's too many points, and you're already seeing it move to 8.5 on DraftKings, by the way. So you're seeing,
you are.
I am seeing 8.5 on DraftKings. FanDuel is 9.5. So, and by the way, Raiders heading into a bye next week. Love that formula. Home team going into a bye, divisional opponent. There's going to be a much closer game. Give me the Raiders 9.5. Anything else you want to add on that?
I just agree with all your points. Bad spot for the Chiefs, just as it was for the Eagles. I just don't see them winning. I don't see them winning with this margin. I just don't. Like, the Chiefs, even when they were loaded on offense, couldn't cover 9.5 very often. And they did. Well, could they? Sure, they could. But they weren't great. Right, Mahomes' ATS in his career is 500. So, like, we're not talking about as good as they've been. They don't cover large spreads to begin with. We just talked about Vegas. They held Miami to 20 in Miami. That's insane. The Chiefs' offense now is struggling. Miami's not so much. Are you all right over there? We're losing you. Did you fall?
Just drop my microphone.
Drop the mic. I couldn't hear it, at least for me. The Chiefs have played.
Sounded awful.
I didn't hear anything.
Can you hear me okay now?
I can hear you.
Okay.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'm trying to get my charger for the laptop. I'm a little
love of God.
He's
falling apart, ladies and gentlemen.
I knocked over my a water bottle here too.
It's all right.
Thing. Can you tell how disheveled I am today?
Yes, you can tell. You can tell you're having a day. Absolutely. It's like you have shingles again. You're back.
3 shingles.
Shingles talk is back. I sure hope not for you. No, overall, dude, as you clean up your mess of a life over there, we've seen the Chiefs play one complete game start to finish this year, and that was against the Bears, and that was it. I've not seen their offense and defense on the same page all season, and we have the Raiders on the flip side, who's played very good football since Josh McDaniel's been shown the door. I do think the crowd will most likely be mostly Chiefs fans. That's what you're going to get in Vegas, but for the Vegas crowd, this is one of their most meaningful games since their playoff year, right? Like, I think that this win can get them back to 500. I don't think they win. Also, I just like to call that out. I do think the Chiefs win.
It wouldn't shock me if the Raiders won.
Wouldn't shock me, but I totally feel like Kansas City should win this game, especially coming off a loss there. I just think it's too much. You're still paying the premium of Kansas City at 9.5. I made the game 6. That's over a field goal of value for me.
I like it.
That's an auto play, close to best bet stuff. But
it was close, man. Oh yeah,
yeah. I really like this play. One of my stronger plays of the week.
All right, well, let's just run through our likes real quick before we get to the rest here. Lions -7.5, Washington +11, Patriots Giants under 33.5, Arizona LA Rams over 44.5, Rams +1.5, Buffalo Philly over 47.5, and double like Raiders +9.5 there. Before we get to our best bet, let's get to the rest here.
Yeah.
Are you sure I sound okay?
You sound great.
It sounds different to me.
Well, you sound the same to me.
Okay. All right. I can't believe I just knocked over my freaking microphone. That was loud. I apologize for everybody.
I didn't hear it at all. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
are you deaf? Like,
Maybe I just kept going. When I talk, I just said, my what? Your sister says the same thing to me. She's like, you don't listen to me. I'm like, I was talking. When I'm talking, I just go.
literally, I dropped the Hydro Flask here, which is
Didn't hear it.
steel,
Silence.
and I dropped the entire microphone. And you said you didn't hear it.
Complete silence. Complete silence.
Well, yeah, I think you need your hearing check there.
Yeah,
all right.
Possibly, I go in one direction. You know.
All right. Well, let's get to the rest here.
Thanksgiving night.
Yeah. Thanksgiving night here. Are non-likes, if you will. How do you feel about this one? Thanksgiving night, 49ers Seahawks, 6.5. I'm seeing 7 in some places for the Niners. Point total is 43. We don't know the status of Geno Smith. I think he plays because he came back out in the fourth quarter.
He'll play.
I don't know, Mr. Niners fan. What do you think on this one?
He'll play. I was close to a like on Seattle here. It's just a division game that these two teams don't like each other. It's more of a spot thing for me with Seattle.
Niners have won their last 3 matchups.
They have. And
sweep last year.
Sweep last year on Thursday Night Football in Seattle, mind you. Brock Purdy playing with broken ribs beat Seattle. I can't bet it though. I can't. I don't want to lean.
Why?
Thanksgiving. Well, here's the thing. I don't know Geno Smith's status or health. So if I was going to lean Seattle, I'd need to know that he's going to be A, okay, and then B, is he going to be effective? And that's like he could play and just not be effective. If he plays and he's not effective, you might as well play Drew Lock because you're going to get buried anyway.
Say that again.
Yeah, sorry. I was just
again.
saying.
You had a Zoom.
A little Zoom thing. No, all I was saying is that for Geno, like I don't know if he's playing. And I don't know if he does play, if he'll be effective. And that's a huge thing, right? Like you might as well play Drew Lock if he's not going to be effective. And I don't like that situation for Seattle. On the flip side, 7 points just feels like a lot on the road. I know they've done it in the past. I know when they're fully healthy, they've buried everybody.
Niners have the Eagles next week, as we mentioned earlier.
That's the other thing. Like the Niners look ahead to Philly. Like I think they just want to get an extended rest, which is a great spot for them. To go into Philly, getting that extra rest. Kenneth Walker's probably not going to play in this for Seattle. I just think this is a game that like the Niners go in, they do enough. Could they get backdoored at 7? It's at the number now I don't want, which is 7. So I don't.
Yeah,
I'm
Seattle's
out
Seattle's obviously a really tough place to play, but it's obviously none of these are plays for us. We don't have to say that.
Yeah.
If I had to lean, I'd still go Niners here. I just think they're an absolute juggernaut.
I do now power rate them as the best team in the league. And again, fandom aside, I don't gamble by my heart. I play numbers, which is why I'm telling you I lean Seattle in this.
You think they're better than the Eagles?
I do. I think they're going to show you that next Sunday. Yeah, I thought they were better than the Eagles last year. And if Brock Purdy stayed healthy, they would have won that game. But that's my 2 cents. And I will also say this. I told you earlier, I teased Detroit. I'm teasing them with the Niners. 6.5. You can still get 6.5s widely available there. I teased them down to a 0.5 point. 6-point teaser. So you get the Lions at 1.5. You get the Niners at a 0.5 point. So basically just win those games. That's my Thanksgiving teaser, which I know we don't really give out teasers here, but that one I feel really good about. I really subscribe, if I'm going to play teasers, to the Wong theory on teasers, which is tease from through 3 and 7 or 7 and 3 backwards, upwards to make sure you're getting 2 key numbers. In this case, where I can get the Niners at pretty much a pick 'em, feel good about that. So that's where I'm going with my Thanksgiving Detroit Niners, and then I'll play it with the Washington Commanders right in the middle.
All right. Black Friday. Friday game. The first one in NFL history. We have the Jets home versus the Dolphins. Tim Boyle will be taking over the reins for Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson will be shot into the abyss. Dolphins 10-point favorites here on the road. 41-point total here. Yeah, I cannot get a read on this one. It's just like it just boils down to like I don't know who Tim Boyle is. No idea. I have no idea.
Let's just here's who Tim Boyle is. You ready? This is close to a like, but I didn't want to do it 2 weeks in a row with the Dolphins. Tim Boyle, the line moved 2.5 points in favor of the Dolphins after Tim Boyle was announced the starting quarterback.
That
Think
bad,
about
huh?
how bad Zach Wilson has been. That Zach Wilson was put to the third team quarterback,
That
and
seemed like it was
Robert
a
Saleh said he'll address the Zach Wilson in the offseason. So,
a locker room move.
yeah, it has to be because
Yeah.
they have Aaron Rodgers basically saying, stay in contention, I'll be back. I don't know if he can do it, but he keeps sending the team videos. They're impressed with the way he's looked. I think
I don't
that
buy it, by
guy,
the way. But
I
keep
know you
going.
said that a couple weeks ago. I'm all in. I want the Jets to make a run here because I want to see if he
Oh,
can come
sure, we
back
all
and
do.
play. So now I'm like rooting for the Jets, but I can't get behind Tim Boyle or 10 points. The defense is really good, but you're starting to see like as good as the defense is, they can't be on the field 24/7.
Yeah.
And it's going to add up. You're going to get tired as the season goes on. It's going to be harder and harder and
I
harder to keep
mean,
these teams down.
this just feels like going to be one of those lame extra games on a,
Yep.
like it's just like, oh, Black Friday. That was neat. Dolphins smoke the Jets.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I'm not there yet. It just, I can't lay double digits again.
Yeah.
It's a thing I don't do. I did it last week. I got smoked on it. I'm off it.
Well,
NFL's tough.
Worked out for me, didn't it?
Sure did. Sure did.
All right. We have the Steelers and Bengals. Bengals without Joe Burrow for the rest of the year. They are home dogs here by 1 point. Point total here is 34. The Steelers today, Tuesday, they fired their offensive coordinator, Matt Canada, finally.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting at this point in the season. I mean, maybe they just took a page out of the Bills playbook there. And, I mean, they won last week, but,
Yeah.
didn't put up a ton of points. And I like what we saw out of Jalen Warren, but
No,
they felt like.
Didn't win last week.
Oh, excuse
Browns
me. Yeah,
got
yeah.
him.
I'm
Came
sorry.
back.
Yeah.
That was a good game in the end. I mean, good game for watching paint dry, but like it was a
Yeah.
good fourth quarter. It was everything you expect out of the Steelers. They just put it together on these random drives and like all the town 10-0, no pulse.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Jalen Warren breaks one for 90 to start the second half. And then they come down, they kick that field goal. It's 10-10. And it's like, oh God, they're going to win this game. They're going to do what the Steelers do. You felt like they were going to win. And then DTR led the team down for the field goal, and good night. I got lucky because I hit that game. But
I kind of think -1 is Beatty, don't you?
yeah,
doesn't it feel like crap? Doesn't that smell?
It does. It does.
I mean, Browning didn't look terrible coming in relief.
Not terrible, but
like he gets a week of practice.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't shock me if the Bengals won this.
No. The reason I almost played Pittsburgh and I backed off. This was one of the ones I was saying for fifth like. It was between them. Oh, okay, someone else will get to in a few minutes.
So why wasn't it? Why wasn't it?
I just liked Washington a little bit more in this one. I was closer to Washington and the other team we'll talk about in a minute before Pittsburgh. So if I was really getting into it, you're talking about seventh, but you shouldn't be betting 7 games. I mean, you can. Good luck to you. Matt Canada being fired, though. Matt Canada being fired is a huge shot in the arm. It's why I wanted to bet Pittsburgh. 1 week, fire that coordinator, and I think you're going to see like the fans have been calling for that for a year and a half now, 2 years. It's like let's go. They're all fired up.
So why didn't the line move more?
You don't really see line moves for offensive coordinators being fired. It's more of a head coach type situation, or if an injury to a key player that will make a line move. But from an offensive coordinator, you don't really see it that much. Look, Pittsburgh's just one of these teams that I can pretty much tell you, Tuck, for the rest of the year, if they stay healthy, if they're more than 3-point dogs, I'm probably going to be on them. And if they're more than 3-point favorites, I'm probably on the other side. They're going to play field goal games. It's going to be gross. You throw the stats out there. That's who they are.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to see Kenny Pickett without Matt Canada. I don't think it's going to make all the world of a difference, but people out there do believe he was the one holding Pickett back. He's still going to make the throws. We'll see.
Either way, it just feels like a gross game overall.
Yeah, off the game.
Jaguars in Houston. Houston now winners of 3 in a row. They are home dogs, 1.5 home dogs. Point total here is 48.5. Now this opened at half a point, right? Favoring the Jaguars, and now it's moved to full point, correct?
I think I see an open in a -1.5. That can be considered the look ahead too. So
Okay.
it's right in that range. It was around 1.5, wherever you were.
So this was close. This was close to a like for me. I actually kind of like the Jaguars in this.
Yeah, a little revenge spot.
Yeah, exactly. They dropped that one early. I think it was like week 2 or whatever it was, week
Yep.
3. And I just think that the Texans are due here to drop one. I think this is a prime example of play divisional opponents, split the season series. I like the Texans team a lot, but I just don't know if they can win 4 in a row against this 7-3 Jaguars team here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just my stance on this game. I do think there is shootout potential, as the line says, 48.5. What are your thoughts on this?
Another one that's jumped up 45 to 48.5 real quick.
Wow. Feels like a big ETN game, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I stayed off it from the revenge spot.
Yeah.
And if you look at Houston's schedule the rest of the way, Tuck, I don't think they're going to be underdogs in any game. Like, it's crazy. They lost to the Panthers and they lost another game. I can't remember off the top of my head, to a team they
I'll pull it
probably
up.
shouldn't have lost to. They could be 8-2. It's insane. Now,
So
granted,
they have. Go ahead.
I was going to say they have, like, it's actually crazy that they could be 8-2. We're talking about the Houston Texans here.
So they have.
But this is a go ahead.
Yep.
Go ahead. So give us the schedule, because I'm looking at it today.
Denver, New York, Tennessee, Cleveland, Tennessee, Colts. Yeah. Texans could go on a big run here. So
if they beat Jacksonville, they're tied. Go ahead. I think I'm a little delayed. I was just saying that I think I'm getting a little delay in Zoom. My internet's like in and out all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So apologies. I was just saying they could realistically win out. I mean, will they? Probably not. Even if you're favored, you're probably going to drop one of those games at least. But like, this game ties them for the division if they lose. If the Texans win, I mean, the Jaguars need this game. Like,
yeah, especially for seeding purposes. So I think the Texans are due to drop one here. Let's move along here. Buccaneers and Colts, 2.5 point favorite for the Colts, 43.5. I was thinking Bucks here, but overall, it's just two teams I'm not entirely certain of. It's just obviously these are all stayaways, clearly, right? I mean, we've already given our likes here. Colts coming off a bye week, Buccaneers, they were competitive for a bit versus the 49ers. They almost kind of pulled it really close and made me shit my pants with my best bet. But they just couldn't figure it out. And the Bucks have the Saints next week, if I am correct here. So
that's right. I believe that's
right. Excuse me. They have the Panthers next week.
Panthers. Yes. News division game.
So any thoughts on this one here?
No, lean Tampa. I don't like what I've seen from the Colts the last few weeks. Gardner Minshew's been unable to move the ball against teams like the Patriots, Carolina. Not great. And Tampa stops the run. And Indy's going to try to open things up through running the ball to open up the pass game. And Tampa's pretty damn good against the run. I know they were second going into last week. Let me quickly just check that. I see San Francisco had some success, but that's not really shocking. But I will say, like, from a running standpoint, they're sixth in the league, giving up 90 yards a game. So, like, good luck. That's the whole thing with Tampa. You can run on them. You're going to beat them with ease. They're banged up in the secondary, too. So, easy for me to stay away there. Lean Tampa, though.
Yeah, I would as well there. Especially with Evans and Godwin indoors. That sounds scary. Let's go to the Panthers and Titans. Titans 3.5 point favorites on DraftKings. I saw them at 4 on FanDuel. 36.5 point total here. Titans, they're 0-6 on the road, and they are 3-1 at home. So I would lean Titans here. Clearly, it's a lost season, but I think this is a nice spot to let Will Levis kind of sling it a little bit and see what the kid has. 3.5 point, though. I mean, you never know between two bad teams here, but I would give the benefit of the doubt to the Titans at home here.
Yeah, agree. Lean Titans, nothing really much to add. First quarter bets, Carolina's 8-2 against spread in the first quarter.
Like that.
Little tidbit if you want to bet first quarters.
All right, Browns on the road in Denver. Denver, red hot. They are 2.5 point favorites here. Point total 35. Another team that seems like they're due to drop one here. But that being said, they are red hot. Any follow-up thoughts on this one here?
Couple interesting things that I found on this game when digging duck. 71% of the money, or excuse me, 71% of the tickets on Denver so far, 94% of the money. Line open 3, it's down to 2 in some spots. Reverse line moves.
95% of
tricky.
95% on Denver.
71% of the tickets, 94% of the money on Denver. And the line's dropping. So that is a be careful situation. That tells me Cleveland, I don't want to lay. I need to see what they get from. Is DTR playing quarterback again this week? Are they going to go to PJ Walker? I saw they signed Joe Flacco to the practice squad.
They did sign him. Yeah,
they did sign him. So I mean, I don't know who's playing quarterback. I assume it's DTR. If it's DTR,
it's gonna be
I'm not laying it on. I'm not laying. I don't want it on the road. I need to see it first.
If I had to pick anything, I would lean that under 35. This seems like
the under. Actually, like the under a lot.
That just seems like a game where you pound Javonte Williams and you pound Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt there, and you just kill a ton of clock in this game. And I could see the Browns' defense causing chaos for Russell Wilson there.
Yep. Like the under as well.
And the last game that we haven't touched on, aside from our best bets, are Ravens and Chargers. Chargers favored by 3, or excuse me, home dogs by 3.5. 47-point total here. Ravens, what the hell? They didn't have a bye last week. No, they didn't. They are going to bye. They are going to do a bye.
Ravens play Thursday Night Football against the Bengals.
Okay, so it's like a shortened bye, if you will.
Yeah, a little mini bye.
Yeah, I honestly, did you catch Brandon Staley's comments after the game?
Oh, he's a mental disaster. He's losing his mind.
Little defensive,
very defensive,
defensive.
It's not the first time this year either. He's melted down, a little defensive.
Honestly, if I was the owner of this team,
he'd be gone.
And I saw him react that way after a loss, see you later. It's not working. It's not working. Sorry, it's not. It's absolutely not working. I know that Keenan Allen had a horrific drop for a touchdown. The sun was in his eyes. And they could have won that game in Lambeau Field, but that's a tough spot in Baltimore in primetime television.
The Chargers are going to charge her.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, this was close to my if not a best bet for the Ravens, but the fact that the Ravens are heading into a bye and going to the West Coast, I ultimately decided to stay off of it. And the fact that Mark Andrews is done for the year too. I do wonder what that offense looks like, and if Isaiah Likely can replicate anything close to what Mark Andrews offers, because he came in at a pinch. I understand that, but he did not offer anything, and he is a great athlete. Yeah. So maybe maybe the fact that he knows he's going to be the starter. Week of preparation, maybe he shows up and can be a nice weapon for this Ravens offense, but I need to see it there. So, all right, so let's move ahead to our best bet. We're going to save you for last because everybody's waiting for your best bet, given that you're red hot. My best bet, looking to make it 2 in a row, give me the Minnesota Vikings minus 3.5 on Monday Night Football versus the Bears. Both teams, they are heading into a Week 13 bye, but give me the home team in that scenario. Been mentioning it multiple times on this podcast. It's a formula I stand by. And I think that this line, as you can hear my kids screaming in the background for some reason.
Can't hear you. I can't hear anything. I can't hear anything but you.
Okay. All right. I can hear them. It's okay. It's close to dinner time here, so that's probably why. This line is just disrespectful to Josh Dobbs. This should be like 5.5, something like that, honestly.
That's what I make the line.
Feels very... Oh, you do? Okay, cool. This feels very baity based on the Bears' performance last week in Detroit. And it was a solid performance in Detroit. They showed up, they covered. But, the Vikings, I think they are still legit with Dobbs. Will we see Justin Jefferson return? I don't know. Maybe they just hold him off until the Week 13 bye week, but you can't rule it out with Monday Night Football. maybe throw him out there in some sort of limited capacity and see how he looks, and then he has a week of rest. So that would be a nice pop if Justin Jefferson came back. And on top of that, like, the Vikings can't drop to 500 home versus the Bears on Monday Night Football. They can't do that. I'm sorry. It just seems like a solid play for me. Vikings minus 3.5. This is a much better team than the Bears. Not enough points. Give me the Vikings 3.5.
Yeah, I can't disagree with it. I will say I don't have a side on this. The reason I don't like this, I make the game 5.5, as you just said, and I mentioned. I can't get there. I think I'm underrating the Bears a little bit with Fields back. I didn't really move them much in my power ratings, and they probably should have, because he is definitely better than Bajent.
Yeah.
I still weeks.
Oh yeah, he's definitely better. Yeah.
I made like a point difference. I think it's more than that, realistically. So I think they're playing better, but the one thing that scares me, Tuck, I'll be honest, with the giving over the field goal, I think Minnesota's going to win this game. Eberflus coaching for his job, Fields playing for his job. When you get that desperation, teams seem to step up. I think we saw that last week against the Lions, though they ended up blowing it. That said, I'm all in on Dobbs Mania. I thought they were going to pull that win out in Denver on Sunday night. I actually did play that, and I was on Minnesota plus 2.5. So it was a nice cash for me. But right? Yeah, they covered it.
Yep.
Thank you for not giving up the 2-point conversion at the end. So yeah, I get lucky there, but you probably should have. But yeah, no, I don't disagree with it.
And by the way, the Vikings, the Vikings, by the way, they've covered or at least surpassed this total versus the Bears 3 out of the last 3 times.
All right. Good luck, buddy. I'm rooting you home.
All right. This is the moment everybody's been waiting for. Matt is looking to move
pressure.
10-2 on the season for his bets. So take it away, Matt. What do you got this week?
I'm going to the 1:00 slate. I am going to the Atlanta Falcons, home dogs, +1.
Now, real quick, let me just say that this is one of those games that we talked about.
Yep.
That's been flip-flopping a little bit on different books and is a little unusual. So continue.
So like it at -1, +1, whatever you get, just don't go too crazy on the number here. I like Atlanta. They're going to win this game. New Orleans is banged up on both sides of the ball. Talk. So Michael Thomas out. Marshawn Lattimore, massive injury. He's not playing in this game. Derek Carr missed the entire bye week in concussion protocol. So no practice for him. We'll see if he goes. The last time he missed a week of practice and then tried to play, it was ugly against Tampa Bay at home. So don't like that. If he doesn't practice this week and then tries to play, good luck. I think they'll be better off playing Winston and Taysom Hill in some combo if he can't practice much of this week. But that's besides the point. I don't care who plays quarterback for New Orleans, because I think that Atlanta defense is very underrated. They're both good against the pass and the run, and New Orleans run
I agree.
Defense.
Yep.
Yeah, New Orleans run defense has been not great. New Orleans 20th in the NFL defensively, allowing 113.6 yards per game. And we know Atlanta wants to run the ball. They get Desmond Ridder back, starting quarterback, for better or for worse. But in this spot, I like it, actually. Atlanta, 7th in the league, running at 130 yards per game. And dare I say, Tuck, the last game they played, yes, it was right before the bye, was that the welcome to the NFL game for Bijan Robinson, getting 22 carries, 95 yards, added another reception,
much needed,
scored a touchdown. I think during that bye week, they make him the focal point on offense, as they should, as we've been waiting for. They will be a much better team for it. I think that happens. On offense for New Orleans, 11th in the league passing the ball, but Atlanta defends the pass better. 9th in the NFL, allowing just 200 yards through the air. The Saints, even with Kamara back and playing well, still don't run the ball well, just 22nd in the league in this category. Atlanta's in a do-or-die spot, both for Arthur Smith, coaching for his job, desperation here, and this Falcons team to save their season. Like I said, Desmond Ridder back. I did like when he came into the Minnesota game right before the bye week. He brought them back before Dobbs came back and took the lead and won the game outright for Minnesota in the end. But it's at home, off a bye. Give me Atlanta in a rivalry game, +1 at home. They will win this game. Looking to go 10-2 on best bets. That's it for me, buddy. I love the Falcons in this one.
All right. Well, there you have it. Best bets: Vikings -3.5, and Matt's best bet, the better bet.
Hopefully,
as we've seen.
Well, we don't say better bet. We're the best bets are hot. We won them both last week, so that's all you can ask.
Atlanta +1. So there you go. Thank you for
everybody, buddy,
for checking in and listening. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to us on Instagram, TikTok. By the way,
we're on TikTok. Wanted to pitch that.
Now, is it Better-in-Laws is the handle?
It is.
Or is it any weird fucking thing on TikTok?
Yeah, I'm still. Listen, I'm approaching 40 years old. I'm learning TikTok. I'm having Thanksgiving with the family, with you guys. Hopefully, I can see my niece on my side. She'll teach me all about it. She's a teenager. She'll help me out. I need to figure out how to post links and shit. I'm having the hardest time posting links.
I would definitely go to her first.
God, that's where I'm going.
Like an avid TikTok user at that age. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. She would walk you right through it. Yeah, no problem.
I need some help. I need some help with TikTok.
Yeah, at Better-in-Laws, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Subscribe to us on Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. And subscribe to us on YouTube. Please leave a review if you could.
Yep.
5-star. Just say, hey, nice podcast. Thanks. Because it does help boost us in terms of visibility. All right. Well, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Matt, I will see you on Thursday. Have a couple cocktails, if you will, right?
Yeah, a couple cocktails. Cash some bets together.
Yeah, watch the 4:30 game there at least, and we'll talk with you guys next week. Good luck, everybody, and happy Thanksgiving.